Hey everyone, I hope you are all okay. Um, I feel like I'm doing this every single time now, but my life has just been so crazy. I've been so busy with work, college, writing, social stuff, you know, craziness. So it's taken me, I think it's 3 weeks to get back to you since I announced what my last book was. But yeah, this year, like I said, I was gonna take my time with reading. I'm so glad that I have. But yeah, I'll just start off with a bit of an apology for taking so long. Also, forgive the way I look and the bags under my eyes. I have had such a crazy week. I am exhausted. It is nearly 6:30 in the morning. I've been up since 5 because I couldn't sleep, even though I woke up tired. And you think, oh yeah, I'd sleep, because I'm tired and all that. But no, I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep. I'm exhausted. I am freezing. It's like -2 outside at the moment. It's -2 degrees C. And it's freezing, so I'm having a chill day at home. I'm gonna do some writing as such today, because I've got my writing group on Thursday. But yeah, other than that, I'm just gonna have a relaxing day, and I feel like I need it. But the priority today is to make this video and get back to you guys. And the book that I've been reading, as you know, is Dunkirk by Joshua Levine. Now, I actually finished this a couple of days ago, but I've been so hectically busy, I just haven't had the chance to make this video. And yeah, so I've been reading this over the past, I think, 3 weeks. And it basically tells the true story. It's a non-fiction book of Dunkirk. Now, of course, the film recently came out, the absolutely fabulous film that it comes out on Blu-ray and DVD here in the UK, I think on the 18th of December. It's like right before Christmas. So I haven't got it yet to hold up to show you, but I will be buying that on Blu-ray when it comes out. And of course, so the book cover is the poster cover for the film. Now, this is going to sound very strange, but I feel like this book has been catered for people who have seen the film. And when I say that, it's not just a case of, okay, here's the true life events, da 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 da. It's pretty specific. By that, what I mean is that you get like the opening chapter. I mean, the actual book title itself, it says Dunkirk, the history behind the major motion picture. So straight off, you've got the link there. And so I totally got that, but I didn't anticipate that it would do things like, we talk about a certain battalion of men, and then you have little asterisks, and at the bottom it says, oh, you look at Alex's uniform at X point in the film, you can see that his battalion sign on his uniform is this one. Stuff like that. It gives you very, very specific references to the film, to things in the film. So it kind of feels like this isn't a negative. It was just like, it was just rather odd, because I haven't really come across this before when reading a non-fiction book that relates to a film. It kind of felt like it was an audio commentary on the film at some points. Just saying, yes, if you look at this sequence, there's a certain shot that goes like this, and that's because X, Y, Z. That kind of thing. So it was a bit odd in places. That didn't differ from my overall thoughts of it and everything. It was just like, oh, okay, that's interesting. The actual structure of the book, I really liked. I really appreciated it, because you've got the initial chapter, which looks at the film and says, okay, this is what Christopher Nolan is, here's some a bit of a conversation with him, yada yada yada, talking about things, a general overview of the day that this all happened, that the film covers. Oh, I should say the week that it covers, because it's got different time zones. And then it says, okay, to be able to understand the thoughts and feelings of the soldiers at Dunkirk, we need to look at what youth was like on the build-up to the war. And then you've got this massive shift to before the war, and of course you have some references to the film because of it talks about the thoughts of the aftermath and everything, and of course that's depicted right at the very end and how people reacted and how the soldiers felt. But you learn about, you know, the background, the build up to the war, and then finally it just goes boom, right, you're right in the middle of Dunkirk now, let's go, let's see where this takes us. It also has, when in the references to the film, it has this thing also, so I'm just get comfortable. Oh, there we go. It also does this thing where it does talk about historical inaccuracies to the film, and it doesn't say, oh, it's because it works better cinematically if we do this, if we do that, yada yada yada. It just, you know, it just says, like, for example, all the streets of Dunkirk, the surrounding area, were bombed, there were fires, there was stuff going off, and then it said, you know, and obviously in the new film, the buildings are stood up and everything, it's fine because of the location. That was impossible to make the location to reflect what Dunkirk really looked like, the surrounding buildings and streets. So you've got things like that. It does say, okay, we did make some mistakes, but it's the time that it was filmed and everything. It's just the way it was. I suppose, you know, being a big film, being a Christopher Nolan film now, they could have spent a load of money, you know, making a CGI thing of the streets of Dunkirk, but then that's the streets of Dunkirk, and that you see at the very beginning section of the film, and then you don't really see them again. So it's not the key focus. The key focus is following these people from various different points of view over different time spans to be able to fight Dunkirk. Another one, just so you know, that I can think off the top of my head, was the German planes, because there are these fights in the air, dogfights is what they're known as, the British versus the Germans, and they put the kind of the nose of the German planes, made them yellow. Now, that was something that the German aeroplanes had, but not until after Dunkirk. But they brought it in for the film Dunkirk, so then the viewers could differentiate between the German planes and the British planes. Fair enough. See, that kind of thing. So it is historically accurate, but it's not historically accurate at the same time for the period, you know, things like that. So I really respect that they did that they flagged up things, and they also flagged up the little, oh, look at his battalion sign on, you know, on his uniform, XYZ, all that kind of lot. The actual feeling from this book, that it talks a lot about Dunkirk Spirit and what it means to people and everything, but it really does feel atmospheric, kind of like the film, where you have this thing like how they know when the tide's coming because that's when the bodies wash up onto the shore. Things like that just put you on. It makes you feel a bit uneasy. The book does the same thing. It's very well researched. I love the structure of it. Joshua's writing is very easy to get into. He's very visceral, and you really do immerse yourself into the situation of Dunkirk. And the last chapter I find really interesting as well, because he talks about, it's called A New Dunkirk, and he's talking about the film version. And yeah, and it says, just to give a perspective on things. So, Operation Dynamo is not well known in the United States. It's not particularly well known anywhere outside the United Kingdom, but that's a great shame because it's a huge international significance. If the BEF had been captured or destroyed at Dunkirk, Britain would almost certainly have been forced to surrender. She would then have become, as Churchill warned his cabinet, a slave state, allowing Hitler to concentrate all his efforts on the Soviet Union. And without Britain as a partner, it's difficult to see how the United States could have opened a second front. So it's a big deal. I've watched, because I like watching reaction videos, I've subscribed to various reaction videos and such on YouTube, and a lot of them are people in America. That's not a bad thing at all. But when it did come to watching the Dunkirk trailer, I was really taken aback how little the knowledge is of Dunkirk in like America and other countries around the world as well. A lot of people who were doing these reactions had absolutely no idea what the British soldiers went through, what they saw, the significance of it. A lot of people thought it was just fiction, when that is far from it. It was pretty interesting watching those reaction videos and not want to go, just no, don't say that, please don't say that, because the things that they assumed from it. But I really love the fact that the Dunkirk film has been so well received. It was beautifully shot. Christopher Nolan did an amazing job. And yeah, it's brilliant. But I think having these films is really important because it allows people in the world to know a bit of history that they didn't know before, just as we've learned a lot of American history from various dramas and films and such, and it opens up discussions. I think the same needs to be done for British history as well. We have got, obviously, a lot of British history to do with like monarchy and such, which is known around the world, but there's lots of other history that people don't realise, and Dunkirk clearly was one of them. So I'm really glad that this film has been made. Would I read this book again? Yes, I think I would. It's, as I said, it's well structured. It's been catered to relate to people who have watched the film because of the direct references and such. It looks at air, it looks at ground, it looks at sea. All the areas that the film covers. You feel the tension mounting as the time goes on. You feel the impacts and everything, and I've found it so interesting when he talks about real life accounts of people who were there, the soldiers and everything, and their quotes, as well as how they felt when they came back, because they all felt ashamed that it was a military disaster. They thought people were gonna be like ignoring them, attacking them, spitting on them, whatever, and that was far from the truth. The British people were so glad that they got off that beach, and as we see in the film, giving them beer and cigarettes and stuff like that, just saying welcome home guys, give them food and blankets. We're so happy you came home. And if it wasn't for Dunkirk, that we wouldn't, it's possible that we wouldn't have won the war. Pretty much all those men who were at Dunkirk were then storming the beaches of Normandy months later, which was beginning of the end of the war. It's extraordinary what those men did, and we should really honour them and remember them for their courage, and the people, the civilians who came out to help as well, bring those boys home. They were absolutely fabulous. But yeah, that's all I can think of to say. So I would recommend Josh Levine's Dunkirk, but I would say as I've probably said a few times now, because I'm so tired I can't remember exactly what I've just said. Uh, it probably is a good idea to see the film first before you read this, because of the references and everything. You don't necessarily have to, because like I think my dad read the book before he saw the film. I can't remember. But yeah, you don't necessarily have to, but it might be a good idea because of the direct references and everything. There's a good interview with Christopher Nolan in this as well, right at the very beginning. Yeah, really interesting read, and yeah, I'd recommend it. Okay guys, that's all I can think of to say. So I will be back shortly to announce what book I'm going to be reading next, which is fiction, and I promise that I'm not going to be like 3 weeks before I get the review of my next book to you. I'm going to, you know, be good. Well, be better, should I say. But yeah, I will see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to leave a comment, leave one in the comments box below, or you can give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, tally up to you, I'll let you decide, and I'll be back shortly. Alright then guys, bye.